Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty universal, becoming the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
And, let's be clear right away. This isn't about chasing some impossible, perfect ideal.
No, definitely not. That idea can actually be pretty unhelpful, almost paralyzing.
It really can. It's more about those small, deliberate choices we make, the ones that sort of add up over time.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating, I think, is how our own brains can sometimes resist change, even good change.
Right. That status quo bias.
Exactly. We tend to stick with what's familiar, what feels, safe, even if shaking things up a bit would actually be much better for us. There's research on that.
Yeah, it's like we're wired for comfort even when discomfort leads to growth. So, our mission today in this deep dive is to explore a really practical source.
Okay.
It lays out some really actionable steps for personal growth.
Hmm.
We're going to look at 7 key strategies plus some activities that can help.
Sounds good. So where do we start? What's the first big step?
Step 1 is get really clear on your big why.
The motivation piece. Why is that so foundational?
Well, think about it. When things get tough, and they always do when you're trying to change,
Mm-hmm. Inevitably.
that's when your why really needs to kick in. It's that deep reason that pulls you through. The source uses a great example, say, you want to be healthier.
Okay.
Your why might be having more energy for your kids, or maybe preventing future health problems, or just feeling more alive day to day.
And it's not just knowing it intellectually, is it? The source talks about visualizing.
Exactly. It's about really feeling that positive outcome, picturing yourself with that energy, that vitality.
Rather than just focusing on, say, the difficulty of getting up early to exercise.
Precisely. Connecting emotionally to the benefit, not just the effort. That's way more powerful.
That makes sense. And it flows nicely into the second step, which is setting clear goals.
Right. Because a fuzzy why without a clear path doesn't get you very far.
So what makes a goal effective in this context?
Well, the source mentions research from Michigan State University. Apparently, just writing your goals down significantly boosts your chances of actually doing them.
Interesting. Just the act of writing.
Yeah, it makes it tangible, takes it out of your head and into the real world. And crucially, the advice is focus. Don't try to change everything at once.
Right. Avoid the overwhelm. Pick one area.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe health first, or career, or relationships, or even just your mindset. Start there.
And then, how do we make those goals?
Well, goal-like, actionable.
That's where the SMART framework is super useful. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yes, SMART goals. Classic for a reason.
Totally. So instead of just, I want to get healthier, which is, vague,
Mm-hmm.
you'd set something like, I'm going to exercise 3 times this week for 30 minutes each time, and I'll cook 5 meals at home. See? Super clear.
Much clearer. You know exactly what. Okay, so we have our why. We have our SMART goals. What's step 3?
Step 3 moves inward. It's about developing a growth mindset. Okay, explain that a bit more. Growth mindset versus the other kind.
Right, versus a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset is basically believing your talents and abilities are just set. You've got what you've got.
Like you're either good at something or you're not.
Exactly. But a growth mindset is the belief that you can actually develop your abilities through effort, through learning, through persistence. Skills aren't just innate.
And people with that growth mindset, they tend to see challenges differently.
Yeah, they see them more as opportunities to learn to stretch themselves rather than as proof they aren't good enough.
Okay, so how do we actually cultivate that? Can you learn a growth mindset?
Definitely. The source lists several habits, things like practicing positive self-talk, catching those negative thoughts.
Hmm.
Mindfulness helps too, just being aware of your thoughts without judgment, emotional regulation, learning to handle setbacks without getting completely derailed.
Gratitude is mentioned too,
Yeah.
and self-compassion.
Yes, being kind to yourself, especially when you mess up. It's all part of building what you might call mental fitness.
And better mental fitness helps us tackle what? Fear, doubt.
Precisely. Fear, self-doubt, those limiting beliefs that whisper, you can't do this. A growth mindset helps you push past those.
Okay, step 4. This one's about priorities. Prioritize what truly matters to you.
This is a big one. It's about making sure the goals you set, the why you identified, actually align with your deep values, not what society or someone else tells you should be important.
So how do you figure that out, what truly matters?
It takes some honest reflection, really. The source suggests asking yourself, what would the absolute best version of me prioritize? Would that person make time for exercise, for family dinners, for reading, for travel? It's personal.
And often prioritizing yourself means, well, setting boundaries, saying no.
Oh, absolutely. That's a key skill the sort highlights. Learning to politely decline things that don't align with your priorities, it takes practice.
It really does. It can feel awkward at first.
But it's essential for protecting your energy for what truly moves you forward. Okay, step 5 is about building the engine for all this. Create healthy habits and routines.
Right. Because motivation, well, it comes and goes, doesn't it?
It really does. Discipline, supported by routines, is what keeps you going when the initial excitement fades.
So habits are like the tracks the train runs on.
Kinda, yeah. Good analogy. When you have those positive daily habits, exercise, maybe meditation, healthy eating, you're making progress almost automatically, even on tough days.
And that consistency builds confidence over time.
Exactly. Even small, consistent actions add up to a big feeling of competence.
Okay, step 6 acknowledges reality. Don't give up, fail forward.
Yeah, this is crucial. Growth means stepping outside your comfort zone.
And when you do that,
You will stumble. You'll make mistakes. Failure is pretty much part of the deal.
so the key is how you react to that failure.
Totally. Reframe it. It's not the end. It's feedback. It's data.
What did I learn? How can I adjust my approach?
Exactly. See it as a chance to tweak things and try again. Persistence is everything. Don't let a setback stop you completely. Just fail forward.
I like that framing. Fail forward. Okay, and the final step, step 7.
Celebrate your wins and reflect regularly.
Taking time to appreciate the journey.
Yes. It's so easy to just focus on the destination, on how far you still have to go.
And beat yourself up for not being there yet.
Right. But the source says, pause and appreciate the effort. Acknowledge the progress, however small it seems.
And normalize the mistakes too, right? They're part of it.
Absolutely. See them as learning curves. And practice gratitude. Be thankful for the effort, for the learning, even for the challenges. Celebrate the small wins daily.
That feels like a much more sustainable and kinder approach. So those are the 7 steps. The source also mentioned some specific activities.
It did. 4 practical things you can do to support this whole process. First up, join a team sport.
Okay, beyond just physical exercise, what's the benefit there?
Well, research links sports generally to better mental health, better self-esteem, just overall well-being. But team sports specifically seem to boost confidence, build resilience, dealing with wins and losses and strengthen social connections. That teamwork aspect is powerful.
Okay, team sports. What's the second activity?
Make learning a habit. Continuous learning.
Why is that so important for personal growth?
It builds cognitive flexibility. Basically, the more you learn, the more adaptable your brain becomes.
So you get better at handling change, solving problems.
Exactly. And it directly feeds that growth mindset we talked about. You're constantly proving to yourself that you can learn new things.
Makes sense. Activity number 3.
Prioritize mindfulness and meditation.
We touched on mindfulness earlier with the growth mindset. What are the core benefits here?
Stress reduction is a huge one. Tons of studies show it helps calm the nervous system and improved focus. In our crazy, distracted world, being able to focus is like a superpower.
True. And the source suggests it doesn't have to be complicated, like apps or podcasts.
Yeah, there are so many accessible ways to start. Guided meditations on apps, mindfulness podcasts, lots of entry points.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And the final activity.
Lean into creative expression.
Ooh, interesting. How does creativity link to being your best self?
Well, there's data, like a poll from the American Psychiatric Association, showing lots of people use creative activities, painting, music, writing, whatever, to relieve stress.
Stress buster.
Yeah, and people who do creative stuff regularly often report better mental health overall. So picking up a new hobby, something creative, can just make you feel better.
And when you feel better,
You're probably closer to acting like your best self, right?
it all connects. Okay, so we've covered the 7 steps, 4 activities. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the main thing you hope people take away?
I think the biggest thing is that this best version idea, it's a process. It's a journey, not some final destination you arrive at.
No, it's ongoing.
Yeah, it's lifelong, really. There's always more growth, more change. It definitely takes effort, takes intention.
But it's worthwhile.
Absolutely. The source makes it clear the effort is worth the reward in terms of fulfillment, resilience, just knowing yourself better.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is
Yeah.
considering everything we've talked about.
Yeah. What's one small, intentional choice you could make, maybe starting today?
Just one thing to begin that valuable journey of growth.